Hello and welcome to okay. Let me start again. Hello and welcome back to the Salesforce Health channel, and this is Lockdown Learning Day 8, in which what we are doing is, so let me describe you what lockdown learning is first. So because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we all are locked down in our houses itself. We are in a quarantine mode. We have to keep social distance from the people, and because of this pandemic, a lot of people are suffering, and hence I thought that why to take it as a bad thing. Let's take it as an opportunity to learn Salesforce, and specifically Salesforce development by me, and yeah, we two are going to learn together. So that's basically what lockdown learning is, and this is day 8 of lockdown learning, and today we're going to talk about APIs and integration, which is a nightmare for a lot of people. And today we're going to bust the fear that is there around in the people, especially into the developers or the aspiring developers, of APIs and integrations. Let me tell it to you, it's a very easy and an interesting topic. It's not as difficult as it seems. It's just that it is quite lengthy. Depends on to the system from which you're trying to integrate your system, or depends on the API which you're trying to use. So that's what the case is. But to be very honest, APIs and integration is a very easy topic if you understand the basics of what exactly an API is, and what is the benefit of integrating two different systems or two different applications together. So that's where I'm going to start today when I'll talk about APIs and integration. And the reason to start over there is that if you'll be able to understand APIs and integrations basics, then you'll be able to write down APIs or create APIs or call out APIs into any programming language or into any system very easily. It will become very easy for you to do all of those things. So that's what the case is, and yeah, so let's begin. But before than that, let's see how many highs are there from the viewers, right? Okay, so hi Santosh, hi Raj, hi Madhvi, hi. These are some people like who are always available, always whenever the session begins. They are always there. Hi Rahul, hi Yogesh. Spartans, are you ready? Yes. Hey Hulk, hey Rahul, hey Murli, Sahil. I'm from Bangalore. Great, Sahil. Hello from Nagpur. Hi Hyderabad. Anyone from Pakistan? I think there are many. I'm from Vizag. Great. Hi from Chennai. Boston. Looks like the audience of Salesforce Hulk is very global, and yeah, it's very nice to know that. I'm from Hyderabad, Chandanagar. Okay. Hello Ashwini. Hello, welcome Hulk. Thanks man. Hey Hitika. Kem cho Majama. Rohit, hello. Hey, hi. Hello everyone. Hello. Why the background is always dark? I don't know. Because I like to keep it dark. Hi. Are you interested into what I'm gonna teach today, or are you interested into watching out my background, right? What are you interested in? Thanks Shrey for Junior Hulk. Sajal Jain. Great, Sajal. Congratulations, Sajal. You won the Junior Hulk challenge. I think, which one was it? I think it was the previous one. Batch Apex one or the Triggers one? It looks like Batch Apex one. And by the way, if you guys do not know what exactly Junior Hulk challenge is, so let me tell you. All what you need to do is you need to attend the Lockdown Learning live session every day, which is happening at 8 p.m. IST. On the of course on the Salesforce Health channel, and at the end of it we're gonna post a challenge related to the topic that I just taught to you guys, and the one who does it the first, or so the one who solves that particular challenge first and writes down the answer in the comments will get some swags from us, and also the Junior Hulk title, and that's a very precious one. You can actually get a job with that title. I mean, you might. And I think you should. Yeah. Well, hi. Hello everyone. Hello. Okay, so your bride's background is very dark. No problem. You're from where was? Okay, so I'm based out of Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. Batch Apex. Okay, good. Cool. Let's without wasting any further time, let's just go right into APIs and integration, and move ahead with the basics of APIs and integration. Are you guys ready? Just give me a thumbs up or like the video if you all are ready. Don't just give the like on the message, but also increase the like so that I can see that how many people are there. Okay. Please start the class. Yes, I'm doing that. A lot of love to you. Thank you so much, Sama. I have completed MBA. Please tell me which profile is best for me, administrator or consultant. Consultant, definitely, but you need to start with the administrator if you do not have prior experience. Let's not get into more questions like that for now. We'll talk about this later. Let's start with it. APIs and you can just say integrations, right? Let me first tell it to you what exactly an API is. API stands for Application Programmable Interface, which is nothing but an interface with the help of which two systems can communicate together, and that's it. That's all what it is. Let me tell you, or let me give you a very simple example of two systems communicating together. Do you guys have a TV or a television or like an LCD or LED, whatever, at your home? I think you all do, right? How do you turn it on or how do you turn it off? With the help of a remote, right? I don't know what I created, but yeah, with the help of a remote. And so the remote is a different system and your TV is a different system. What you do with that particular remote is actually interacting with the TV, right? That's what you're doing. So these are two systems interacting with each other. TV does not interact with the remote, of course, but like the remote initiates the action in the TV. So that's what it is. So the method which is basically used, typically it's infrared radiations which you pass from here, and so over here there is an infrared transmitter over here which transmits those radiations, and over here there is a receiver, right, which receives those messages that come from the remote and accordingly performs that particular action. So that's exactly what it is. So whenever you want two systems to communicate together, there needs to be a medium through which they communicate. And in the case of TV and a remote, it's simple. It's the transmitter and the receiver and the and then all the hardware with the help of which they communicate. Similarly, let's talk about another system, right? We all use headphones, and let's say this is your mobile phone. This is the jack. Nowadays you guys are using it with the help of Bluetooth, but let me explain it to you with the help of a jack, right? So there is a jack and you're using this headphone, and this headphone has also got some controls over it. So what is happening? This mobile is sending the information or the messages onto the like headset, and you are able to listen it with the help of the speakers over there. Similarly, whatever controls are there onto this, whenever you press like volume down, it goes back to the system and says that the volume should be less. And if you say volume up, then it goes back to the system. So the message goes back to the system and it says the volume should be turned up. Similarly, if you play pause, if you use the button play or pause, it plays and pause the music. So that's what it is. So whenever there are two different systems which are there, and we want these two systems to interact with each other or to communicate with each other, we use APIs, right? That's what we do. So that's what exactly is an API is, and you must be thinking that it's definitely not so easy. But let me tell you, it is that easy. It's all the concept what is there behind. But now let's apply these concepts to softwares, or let's say applications in particular, or systems. Again, we can call it out. The system can be a computer as well, right? So that's for that we need an API. So typically when it comes to Salesforce development, we are generally, as a developer, we're generally developing applications, and we want to use different other applications functionality inside our Salesforce org. So in that case, we need to call out the API, and sometimes we want other systems to interact with our Salesforce as well. So in that case, we need to create the API inside our Salesforce org. I'll just explain it to you with the help of a diagram. So let's say, oops, this is your Salesforce org, right? Or before going to Salesforce, let me just explain it to you with the help of simple application, right? There is an application over here and there is an application over here. Let's say this is application 1 and this is application 2, right? So application 1 and this is application 2. Yeah. So application 1 wants to use the functionality of application 2. Then in that case, it will call out the API for application 2. Here is the API which it is calling out, right? Similarly, if application 2 wants to use application first's functionality, it can call out the API over here, right? That's what the case is. Let me give you an example to explain this. So again, later also I'm gonna take an example to explain this to you, and that example is like, let's say you are running a money exchange shop, let's say, where people come in with different currencies and you give them you basically give them the currency that they want. That's basically what you do. So a typical example of that is Western Union, I guess. If it is still alive, then that is suitable. But again, let's come back to this. So for money exchange softwares or applications, if someone is giving you, let's say, $100, right? So when it comes to INR, the current USD to INR conversion is like around 76 per dollar. So it should be 7600, right? That's what it should be. So this is the real conversation. But the when you talk about it, the currency changes rapidly, and we want the latest currency to be available whenever we are submitting that particular record. And we do not have that capability to determine or to identify what is the currency going on right now. We want it from any other third party, or let's say we want that rate to be decided by a particular bank. So let's say this is a bank which gives us different rates, and based on that, the Western Union or Western Union's application provides the exchange amount. And Western Union does not have its own functionality to determine what is going to be the conversion rate, right? So in this case, there should be an API of the bank's application that this Western Union application should be able to use by just calling it out, and it should get the conversion rate, and accordingly whatever the amount that the user wants to exchange from Western Union should get converted according to the conversion rate that we are getting from the API of bank. So there is some functionality, or there is something that we are not able to do, or there is something like there is some data which is not available in our current system, but it is available in any other system. In these situations, we need these two different applications or two different systems to communicate with each other. And the mechanism of communicating of two different applications with each other is only done with the help of an API. That's it. That's all about API. And when you talk about integrations, it's one and the same way. You have integrated two different applications into one, and that is working as a package for an end user. That's what the case is. So yeah, that's an API. Now let's come to Salesforce once again, and let me explain it to you what an API is. Let's say this is a Salesforce org, right? And this Salesforce org is, let's say, of Apollo Tires. I don't want to take any company's name, but I mean it's just an example. Nothing serious, right? Apollo Tires is selling their tires like to different let's say, yeah, Apollo Tires is selling their tires to different countries. And in different countries, there are sales executives who are just creating an opportunity to sell the tires. And when they're creating an opportunity, what we want is that whenever they're creating an opportunity, there should be like the conversion rate that we should get for that particular currency should be of the time when the opportunity is getting closed, right? Or when the deal is happening. We want the currency or the conversion rate to be of that time. So in that case, we do not have our own functionality inside our Salesforce org to determine what is the what is the current currency conversion rate that is available into the market. So that data is not available to us, or not that data is not available to us, and for that data we'll use any other applications This is a currency converter application. So let's say this is a website which provides currency conversion, and this website has got a UI as well, in which you can just write down whatever the amount of particular currency that you have got and the converted rate, and you'll get the converted rate according to the current conversion rate that is going on. But our sales executives do not want to go onto that website then just write it down, the amount that they're getting for that particular opportunity, and then get the converted amount from there and then just copy paste it back again to our Salesforce org. It should happen automatically. So in this case, if this website has got an API, then the users do not have to go and use this application manually, but we'll also be able to use this application with the help of code. So that means if you want an application to be working with the help of code as well, then in that case you create an API for that particular application. That's it. So if this currency converter application's owner want its users to use the API as well, or use this application with the help of API, then in that case they'll create an API. Otherwise, if they'll not create an API, then we cannot actually get the conversion rate from this particular application. So what you need to understand is that whenever we want to communicate with any other external application from our Salesforce org, then in that case that application needs to have an API. That's very, very important. I hope you are getting it, right? So yeah, that's what it is. So let's say if there is an API over here, which will give you the currency rate. So all what you need to do is you just need to make a call out, right? You need to make a call out. That means you are requesting some data from this API, and this API is gonna return you the result, right? So this is something that we call as request, and this is something that we call as response, right? Request is basically request is, again, as the name signifies, request is a request from a particular API to do something or to actually execute a particular code, and whatever we get back from that request is what we call as a response. And this is very simple. This is the basic concept of an API. You just request something and you get a response. As I told you in the example of a headphone and a mobile phone, whenever you press the volume down button, what happens is the volume of the audio gets down, right? So that's a response that you're getting. So this is a request. Pressing this button is basically a request, and it takes the message back, and it takes the message back to the mobile phone. And when it takes the message back to the mobile phone, it basically responds responds back in a way that the volume of the audio is a little less to what it was earlier, and now what you're getting in your headphone speaker is in low volume. So that's a response. So this is a very simple concept of it. Whenever you want to use any external applications functionality inside your own org, then that's gonna be done with the help of a call out. And in a call out, what happens is you make a request and you get a response. That's all what happens. I hope you are able to get this. It's information exchange, or it's basically a communication. It's not always a data exchange, but it's a communication. It's communicating between each other to let each other know that what you need to do and what I need to do, or whatever, right? So yeah, now let's talk about something else. If let's say for the same company, Apollo Tires, the sales executives are creating leads using their own user account onto the Salesforce org. But there are people who are just like, let's say, who are just submitting as in as someone, or let's say Apollo Tires has got multiple different websites or social media pages, as well as some kiosks. There are different places where they can get the leads from. Let's say there is a show, there is, let's say there is a Grand Prix happening. If you do not know what is a Grand Prix, it's basically a racing competition or a challenge that happens every year. I don't know whether it happens every year or not, but yeah, it's basically a world championship of F1 cars, right? That's what it is. So there are a lot of people who are interested into F1 car racing. They're coming to the stadium to watch it, or the track to watch it, I would say. The track to watch it, and they are putting their information into the kiosk of Apollo Tires to get some goodies, right? That's all what they're doing. Into that system, if they are entering some information, so that's an external system, right? That kiosk is an external system. So inside that, if they are submitting some information, and what we want is, we want that information to be stored in our Salesforce org. Then it can only be done with the help of an API, right? So listen to this once again. Whenever any external system wants to interact with our Salesforce org, then in that case the API should be available inside our Salesforce org. This is the concept. So wherever like you need any external system to interact with your Salesforce org, you need to create an API inside your own Salesforce org. That's all what you need to do. And then this system is gonna make a call out to this API, and it's again gonna, it's the same terminology. It's gonna request something from this API, and this API is gonna send a response back. So you need to understand first that when do we need to create an API, and when do we need to do an Apex call out when it comes to Salesforce development. If there is an external system, like there is an external system to which you want to communicate to from your Salesforce org, then in that case you just need to make an Apex call out. But if you want any external system to communicate with your Salesforce org, then in that case you need to like create an API inside your Salesforce. So in this case, this is from and this is to. This is how, like, if you'll understand this from and to concept, it will be very easy for you to make a decision that whether I should like make an Apex call out, or whether I should just create an API inside my Salesforce org and let the external users use that API's endpoint to make a call out. Yeah. In this case, this is from and this is to. Right. So in this case, you need to understand this from and to concept. So if some external system will be sending a request and it will be coming to the Salesforce org, then the API needs to be into the Salesforce org. So if to is Salesforce org, then the API needs to be into the Salesforce org. But if inside the Salesforce org, you like no external system is gonna initiate the communication, the Salesforce org itself is gonna like initiate the communication with an external system. That means if Salesforce is on the from side, then it's just gonna make an Apex call out. That's how you need to understand it. If Salesforce is on to the to side, then there will be an API created inside the Salesforce org, and if Salesforce is on to the from side, then it's just gonna make an Apex call out. I hope you got it. Like, this is the easiest way you can understand APIs in Salesforce again, in Apex specifically. Okay, yeah. So Gagan, I'm gonna tell you everything about. I'm just gonna show you an example, like how to do it. I'm gonna show you the steps on how to actually write down an API inside Salesforce, and how to actually make an Apex call out. I'm gonna show you examples of that as well. But before that, than that, I just need to understand, or I just need to make sure that you understood this concept. Is it clear to you? Waiting for the responses. Still waiting for the responses. Perfect. I got the responses. So yeah, that's basically what the concept is when it comes to Salesforce APIs and integrations. Now let's just go and see a simple code of an API that we created. But before than that, let's see how we can integrate with an external system, right? So how we can actually make a call out. And this is it. This is a simple example, or this is a simple code with the help of which I'll be able to explain it to you that how an API works, right? Or how to act, no, not how an API works, not how an API works, but how to make an Apex call out. So over here, I've created a class. This class is its name. I don't think I need to tell you the name, but yeah, the basic functionality that I have over here is I just want like there is an amount that I'm gonna get in euros, and I want that amount to be converted into INR, whatever that amount is, right? That's all what I need to do. This is the basic functionality of this code which I have written down over here, and I'm gonna explain it to you line by line so that you will be able to understand it in a better way. So yeah, initially I initialize the INR value to 0.0. It's fine. Then this is a very important code, right? HTTP H is equals to new HTTP. So we are creating an object of HTTP class which is present into Apex. Without this, you cannot actually make an Apex call out, right? Then all the information that you want to pass out, that you want to pass to the external system in an Apex call out is stored inside the object of HTTP request. So I created an object of HTTP request which is REQ, and inside this request I first set the endpoint URL. Now let me tell you what exactly an endpoint URL is. So this is your Salesforce org, right? And there are multiple external applications that are out there in the world having API, like this one has also got an API, 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 this one has also got an API. Now you're making a request. How your system is gonna identify that to which API I need to make a call out? There needs to be an address for it, right? So the endpoint URL is the address of that API, right? So yeah, over here I have set the endpoint as, with the help of set endpoint method, I have set the endpoint as https :/API.exchangeRatesAPI.io/latest. So we're just gonna go to this particular website, or I think I've already got this. Have I? What is this? Exchange Rates API. Exchange Rates API. Here it is, right? So this is the API that I'm using, and this is a complete documentation that has been provided in order to use this API. So you can just go through it and use it. Over here, I'm just setting the endpoint URL as this, and then I'm setting the method, whether it is a get method or whether it is a post method or something like that. So let me tell you, this is a very important concept, by the way. This gets asked in a lot of interviews as well, that what is the difference between get and post, and like define the types of method that you can that you have between all of it. Let's understand it in a very simple way. if you want to get some data from an external system, then you're gonna just use the get method. And if you want to post some data to the external system, or if you want to send some data to the external system, then in that case it can be post. The basic difference between get and post is something like I think I should skip that. I should leave it to you what all different types of methods are there, and you need to understand all of this. Like there is patch, there is put, there are so many of them. I think I should leave it to you, but the basic one is get. If you want to get some data from an external API, then you can just set the method as get. If it is post, then in that case you just need to set it as post, or if there is anything else, then you should need to set it as anything else. Over here in this API, it has already said, if you can see this, get. So this is a get method, and this is the API that they have provided, right? So it was pretty clear, and almost all of the times the documentation of that API will describe that which method you need to call out in order to do a certain thing. So it will always be available to you. That's what the case is. Okay, so now I'm setting another variable, HTTP response res, and after writing down res, I'm just with the help of this HTTP object, I'm using the send method to send this particular request. So this send will basically make an Apex call out with all the data present into the request object which is here, right? So that's it, and this complete line is gonna make an Apex call out, and it's gonna send a request, and it will wait until it will get the response into this res object. That's what's gonna happen. So this is like the complete code, or this is I would say these 5 lines are all what it takes in order to make an Apex call out. That's it. That's really it. So that's what it is, and this API has also given you the information that it sends the response in a JSON format, right? JSON format. Let me just write it down if you do not know what is JSON. Just a second. Okay, so JSON. So JSON is basically a format in which the data is available in a key value format. That's it. That's basically what a JSON format is, and it's very easy. You can just learn JSON in like half an hour, and how to pass it and everything. So just go through the documentation which is available on the web for JSON, and that'll help you out a lot. So this information that I'm getting is from is in a JSON format, and I just need to pass it. So the next code that I've written down after these 5 lines is basically to pass the response that I'm getting in this JSON format. That's it. So see, base is the key. That means what is the base currency? That is euro. And then after comma there is date, on what date you're getting these values. This is the date, and then you're getting rates, and inside rates you're getting another JSON array which has got like CAD, CHF, GBP, different values, different currencies as keys, and their values or their rates as values with respect to the base value, which is euro. That's the case. So in order to pass it, there are different classes which are provided over here. Like for JSON, there is deserialize untyped. So in the response, we have got the body, and this is the body that we have got in JSON response. And in the response, so we'll just write down res.getBody, and we'll get the complete JSON that we got from there. And then we're gonna deserialize it, right? And then we're gonna convert it into a map, and it will be stored over here. And then this JSON body can be printed and can be verified that how we're getting it. And inside this JSON body, what exactly do we want? We want the rates, right? So there are these 3 values: base, date, and rates. What matters to us is rates, right? And so we'll first write it down like this: JSON body.get rates, and then we're gonna again pass it. And inside rates, which rate do we want? We want INR, right? So we'll just write down mmap dot. So this is mmap.INR, and then we're gonna get the conversion rate. That's it. And then just gonna multiply the euro, which we are getting as a parameter over here, to the conversion rate, and we're gonna get it. And here is the code to test it. Let's say we've got like 285 euros, right? So for 285 euros, let's see how much will be the converted amount. Let me execute it. Debug. So the converted amount is 23855.925. Let's compare it. What is the current value that we're getting? So we're just gonna. So INR is what? Where is INR? I can't see it. Can you? Yeah, there it is. 83.705, right? So I'm gonna just open up calculator. 285 multiplied by 83.705. So is it 23855.925? Let's compare it. It's 23855.925. That's it. That's how this works, right? So that's how you make an Apex callout, and that's it about making an Apex callout. I think I should not waste more time onto an Apex callout. Let's just move on to how to create an API inside the Salesforce org, because we are running short of time. So this is another code that I've created, which just reflects the example that I created over here. Like, there is an external system, and with the help of an external system, we want to submit a lead to the Salesforce org, right? So how we're gonna do that? So for that, first you need to create an API inside the Salesforce org, right? The API should be onto the to side. Whenever there is an external system that which wants to interact to our Salesforce org, so there needs to be an API. And to create an API, we just need to create a global class. You can just write down all of these steps by playing this video in a slow motion mode, so that you can get it, because there are a lot of people who say that I speak a little fast, and when time is running short, I speak faster. So first thing that you need to do is you need to create a global class. The class needs to be global, as it will be accessible outside the system as well. Number one, and like at the top of that class, you need to write it down as annotation at rest resource, and after that, in the parameters, you need to write down URL mapping is equals to, and then after that, you need to write down whatever the name that you want to keep for that particular API. It can be different from the class name as well. There's no problem, because in the external system, it will be called out with whatever you're gonna set it over here. So like over here in the Apex callout that we made over here, it was like exchange rates api.io/latest. So latest was the URL mapping for that particular API. In our case, it will be like ap4.salesforce.com/whatever/apex rest/lead create/. So that's something that you need to do. So you need to write down the URL mapping over here, and after that, you need to inside that particular class, you can create as many methods as you want, but as I said, that like there are different methods, get, post, and every other one. So you need to define the method with the help of an annotation, and inside a single class, there can be only one HTTP post, there can be only one HTTP get, and so on, right? So the name can be anything. It's not necessarily that you need to keep it as do post or do get or whatever, as we used to keep it in Java, but over here you can just use this annotation HTTP post if you're going to make a post call out from an external system to this system. And then inside this code, all what I've done is I've initialized some variables over here. I think this is something that I need to remove. There's no need for it. Where? And then see, this is important. So whatever the request that you're gonna get from an external system, we can access that with the help of REST context class dot request static variable, right? That's what the case is. So REST context dot request will get the requests information in this REQ object that we created over here, and similarly whatever response you want to send back can be sent with res, which is again rest context.response, another static variable of rest context class. That's the case. And inside req there are parameters and there is body, right? So we can just use the dot params in order to get whatever the parameters are, and we can use dot request body to get what the body is passed in that post method. And then we're going to convert that body to string, so that depends on the external system, like in which format they have provided us the body. Is it in JSON format, is it in text is it in string format, or which format? Whichever format it is in, it's just gonna provide us, and then we're gonna convert it into string, and then we're gonna just add it, put it over here in this string, right? And then we're gonna parse it, like with the help of JSON.create parser ARR, and over here we'll get it as a JSON parser, right? And why we are using JSON parser, because of course the information is sent to us in a JSON. The body is in JSON format. That's the reason we are passing it in a JSON format. That's the case. Now with the help of parser.next token, we'll iterate through each key value pair which will get inside the JSON. So parser.get current token is it's something that we're gonna get with it's gonna identify that whether it is an end object of that JSON or not. And after that we're gonna get the values, and to get the field name, so to get the key we'll use this method inside the parser, and to get the value we'll use getText method, and we'll put it over here, field name and field value. And this if the field name is equals to first name, then f name is equals to parser.getText. F name is nothing but a string that I've created over here. And similarly, field name basically means the key that is coming up from the from the body of the JSON. And similarly, we've got all the values over here, and over here I've created a lead s object, a lead lc, new lead. First name is equals to f name, whatever the value that we got from the body, we'll just put it over here, and then we're gonna insert it with the help of a DML statement, and then we're just gonna return the ID of that particular record back as a response. So that's all what we're doing. To call this API, I'm gonna use Postman. Postman is you all might be scared of Postman, but let me tell you, it's very, very, like it's basically a brahmastra for every developer. To just verify whatever the request that you're making, or whatever the API that you've created, or whatever the request that you're making, are you making in the right way, or whether the API is working in the right way or the expected way or not. So that's what the case. And for all the people who didn't understood what brahmastra is basically the missile that cannot be that cannot be avoided at all in any situation. Anyways, just ignore that. Coming back to this, first, what I need to do is there are some steps that I still need to do. Number one, in order to like access the Salesforce org, give me a second. So this is the Salesforce org, and there is an external system which wants to access it. And in order to access it, we first need to create a connected app into Salesforce, right? You can just figure out the ways of creating a connected app because I'm running short of time. You just need to Google it out, that how to create a connected app. From there you'll get two parameters, secret key, and number two consumer key and consumer secret. Consumer key and consumer secret. And yeah, apart from that, what else you're gonna get? So yeah, this is something that is very much required. You need to create a connected app, and again so you need to create a connected app, and before actually making a call out to Salesforce org, you need one thing. What do you need? You need authorization token. because it's all happening with the help of OAuth 2.0. I do not have the time to explain you all of these authentication techniques. You can just figure out any video, or maybe if I'll get time I'll explain to you. But first you need to create a connected app. For that you need consumer key and consumer secret, and there are some other values also that you need in order to get the authorization token, right? You need this authorization token. Authentication, it might be authentication token, I'm not sure whether what is the name. I think it's an authentication token. And in order to get the authentication token, this is something that you need to do. See this. So yeah, this is client ID. Inside client ID you need to place the consumer key which you got from the connected app, and inside client secret you need to put the consumer secret that you got from the connected app, and then the username, whatever the username is. In this case, like I'm not showing you the real username that I've got for my org because I do not want to share the password with all of you guys. So this is username. So this is the username, and then you need to enter the password, and inside password, please note this down. Username is equals to Salesforce orgs username. Password is equals to Salesforce org username plus the security token. So there is a security token that you get on your email when you reset it. Every time you change your password, the security token gets reset, and in order to get it, you can just figure out the steps. It's basically you just go to your profile, and so basically your personal settings, and over there on the left hand side there is a reset my security token. By that you will get the security token. So password needs to have this, username needs to have this, and the client ID needs to have this. The client secret secret, and again there is underscore over here. Should have consumer secret, and in the username there should be Salesforce orgs username, orgs password, and the fifth thing that you need for it is, and again the order is going to be a little different. So this is going to be the first thing, or yeah, you can just write it down in any way. 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's it. And the number one thing is grant type. And these are the steps that I'm telling you in order to get the authorization token. Yeah, password. Yeah, it's simple text. It is simple text or password as text, not your actual password, right? So you need to pass on all of these values in order to get the authorization token, and the endpoint URL for this should be https login.salesforce.com services OAuth token this. So now let me explain you why we are doing all of these steps. If an external system wants to interact with your Salesforce org, the API which gets created inside your Salesforce org can only be accessed with the help of a user, because it's protected. It's not a public API that you're creating over here. So like first the user should be able to log in order to perform the functionality, or in order to execute the code whatever is written down in this particular API. And to log in with API we need authorization token. That's what the case is. And in order to get authorization token, just a second, these are the steps that we are following, right? I hope you got it. I wish, in fact. So yeah, so if I'll just pass it on, I'll get the authorization token. In this case I'll not get it because the password has expired and the security token has also expired, but I've got another another way to get that. I'm not gonna show, yeah, but if you're gonna do all of these things, you're gonna get the authorization token over here as a result. And now you can just make a call out to the API that you just created. And how to make a call out to the API that you just created? To make a call out, set the endpoint as your Salesforce org's URL plus URL mapping of the API that you want to call. And before this, you just need to write down a text. I think that's Apex REST. Oh yeah, services/Apex REST. So in our case, let's see what exactly is the URL. So it's ap4.lightning.force.com. So you just need to copy this, and you can just put it over here. And then after that, just write down services/Apex REST, and then slash, and then lead create. And from where did we got this lead create? This is the URL mapping that we have set over here, right? That's it. Slash, that's it. So this is the endpoint URL that you need to set. Paste. And in the header, you just need to write down two things. Authorization. Let me just write it down over here. Authorization is equals to bearer, which is a text, space authorization token. Right, that's what you need to do. So over here I've already got the authorization token, and this it's this big of a string. And then in the content type, I have to set application/JSON. You'll just get all of these values automatically inside it. And we need to set this as post. Why post? Because over here we have defined this method as HTTP post. So that's what the case is. In body, we can just write down JSON. So first name is the key. Remember the code. If the key is first name, then the text will be the first name of the lead. If the key is last name, then the text would be last name of the team, right? So if it is set as LA name, so in that case you just need to pass LA name over here. It should be similar to what you have set in the API, right? But I will just keep it like that, right? And the value that I'm going to pass over here is let's say David Beckham, whatever we call it. Salesforce Hulk is the company, right? So let's first figure out that is there any lead like that in our Salesforce org. So in recently viewed leads, the Rock is the one, nobody else. I'm gonna just send this. HTTP method get not allowed or post. I have set it as post, my brother. Oops. What's the problem? Oh, I haven't saved it or what? Lead create, yes. Is this the lead create one? Yeah, lead create slash, yes. Send. Oh yeah. So you just need to write down, you do not need to write down lightning.force, you just need to write down ap4, whatever the instance is, and .salesforce.com. So let me just change it in the document over here as well. So it's yeah, it's Salesforce org, users org, right? So instance name .salesforce.com. Let me just change it like that. That's what the case is. And okay, so this is the lead that got created. We've got the ID in the response. Let's refresh this. David Beckham, Salesforce Hulk. Let's open it. Let's see when did this record got created. 8:26 a.m. 17th of April 2020. So yeah, again, the org's time zone is different. That's the reason we're getting the time as different. But yeah, this is the time at which it got created. And with this, we complete Apex callout as well as like creating an API and calling it out from the external system. I hope you got what I was trying to explain you, and I hope I was able to clear out the fear of APIs and integration that you have in Salesforce development, because it's a very important topic when it comes to being a Salesforce developer, and when cracking Salesforce interviews as well. It's a very important topic. The only way of coming up out of the fear of APIs and integrations, or getting better at APIs and integration, is only and only to try as many situations, as many scenarios, as many applications, as many APIs as you can. There is no other way, because every integration or every API is different. There is no same integration that happens from two different systems, right? It's all different. It all depends on to the authorization techniques, or authentication techniques, and it all depends on, it depends from the system to system, right? So the more you're gonna try, the more you're gonna work onto it, the easier it's gonna get. And let me tell you, if it is not working, if the API is not working, or if you're not able to make a call out, or if you're not able to build an API, probably you are quitting too soon, because it takes time. It takes time for me as well. Like similarly, I just faced a problem right now. I have explained this example I don't know, 5 times, 6 times, or what, or even more than that. But again, I got stuck. But then I changed something and I was able to crack it up. So this is how it works. Make as many mistakes in order to become expert into APIs and integration, and that's the only way to become an expert into it. That's the case. So with that, I think we are almost out of the time. So please make sure to write down your questions down in the comments. I'll be able to answer all of them. I'll try to answer all of them when I'll be able to. And the challenge for APIs and integration is going to be posted soon, so just wait for it. And I hope you got entertained and educated by the video, or by the live session that we had today. So see you tomorrow then. And the topic for tomorrow is not yet decided. We'll decide it and we'll post it by tomorrow morning probably. So till then, see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. IST for another Salesforce Hulk live session of Lockdown Learning. Until then, bye bye. Take care.